Hello. It's about hate crimes today. Yay.
Okay, so welcome to the book reading of Dave Rubin's book, Don't Burn This Book.
I'm Jake.
Hannah, today we have a chapter on hate crimes, and I don't know if you guys are going to be surprised by this, but Dave Rubin does everything in his power to try and downplay the impact of hate crimes.
Surprise. Okay, so let's define hate crime. What is a hate crime, Hannah? What's a hate crime?
Okay, a hate crime, Jake, would be, let's say I come up to you.
Mm-hmm.
It would probably help. Let's say you're not a white person, okay? Pretend you're not
right.
white for a second. And I'm
I
very
can
white.
easily do that. I mean, look at me.
And I scream some sort of racial slur at you, and I'm like, "Go away! I don't like," and racial slur, and then I do a crime.
What's
I
the crime?
attack you.
Attack me?
I punch you. I punch you in the face.
You are pretty savage.
Or I don't know. If I vandalize your car and, say spray paint on
My
it.
skin is green. You say like,
Sure.
Green fucker.
Yeah. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
If I burn a cross in your yard.
Oh.
If I...
Little different. Little different from this playful green skin fella that we were talking
Sure.
about. Okay. All right. I think I understand hate crimes. As a white man, I've never...
Yeah.
Of course, encountered hate crimes, so I don't believe they're real. But I'll let you make me come around on it. It's so stupid. What did he actually say? What does he actually say? Is that what you're gonna bring up?
I thought he had statistics on white people getting hate crimed, but it was very low. I don't remember.
Is it like Jewish people getting hate crimed? Is it like people who are otherwise white but not necessarily Caucasian?
Religious hate crimes, 58% were Jewish.
Oh, come on.
Compared to 18% who were Muslim, and I didn't see a stat here about Christians or anything, but I think these are U.S. stats, so you're probably not going to get hate crime for being Christian.
Probably
anyway,
not.
Let's go back to the beginning of this, because he does an incredibly disingenuous thing. So he goes and starts the chapter by saying, just like the supply of Nazis frequently fails to meet demand, the same can be said for hate crimes. We're constantly told that these are increasingly common in response to Donald Trump's presidency, but a number of recent hoaxes, included the infamous Jussie Smollett case, show progressives are filling a void with fake claims. So his claim is that because the Jussie Smollett case happened, that means that all hate crimes are fake, or that most of them are fake. Citation. Gonna need a citation on that one.
That's wild.
One person being stupid does not mean that the majority of them. And by the way, he's like, they say that hate crimes are increasingly common in response to Donald Trump's presidency, like sarcastically.
Yeah.
Like he thinks that's not the case. Mm-hmm. FBI statistics show that between 2016 and 2019, hate crimes have gone up 19%. Almost 20%. In 3 years.
Oh, weird. Why is that, you think?
That is so many.
That doesn't seem right, but I thought Donald Trump's not a racist. What are you talking about? How'd that work out?
He goes on, and this frustrates me too. There's very little brutally violent racism in modern America, he told USA Today. He was quoting someone. There are less than 7,000 real hate crimes reported in a typical year. Again, the term real hate crime being a loaded term. But I even divided that out. You know how many hate crimes that is a day?
How many hate crimes is that?
19. That's 19 hate crimes a day.
That seems like
if those stats hold up. And from what I found, the FBI statistic is in the 7,000 range per year, roughly 7,300. But I just did a flat 7,000 and divided it by the number of days in a year, a non-leap year at least. 19 hate crimes a day is a lot of hate crime, Dave.
That seems like a bit of hate crime. How many hate crimes is the right amount of hate crimes, though? That's the real question. Because it seems to me like 0 would be the ideal number, but we're never going to get there. There's not a lot of hate crime. It's what? There's so many of those.
He goes on to say, and remember, earlier in a different part of in a different chapter, he mentioned quote, black on black crime, right? It's his statistic, right? When we pointed out rightfully, hey, within any racial group, you're going to have most crime being committed against people of your same racial background because we have a lot of like de facto segregation in this country.
Yeah.
White people tend to live around other white people. Black people tend to live around other black people. Same for tons of different racial groups.
Yeah.
Here he points that out, interestingly. He says, interracial crime is quite rare. 84% of white murder victims and 94% of black murder victims are killed by criminals of their own race.
Okay.
And the person most likely to kill you is your ex-wife or husband.
Wait, so what was the other part for? Before and earlier in the book?
Now that Dave Rubin is trying to downplay crimes from white people onto black people, now he points out the context of all of these statistics.
Do me a favor and put me out of my misery. Jesus,
So
that's so stupid.
I hate it. I hate it so much.
I don't know how you could have like, I don't know, just the idea of like, yeah, that's a fine amount of hate crime. That's like, you know what? We couldn't. What could we possibly do? Like, it doesn't offer any solutions. It's always like, nah, it's not that big a deal. What about the victims of hate crime and how, like, look, I understand there's 320 million Americans or something like that. I don't know, what's the 327 U.S. population? What do you got? 328. I was close. I did a pretty good job. So I understand that, like, was it 7,000 a year, roughly? Is that what it was? 7,000.
It was 7,300, something like that.
A year. That sounds like not a lot of people, okay? But there are like forms of cancer that we make real big hubbubs about that's like less than that. Like, and I understand that's a little bit different, but not like in the way that it's not preventable or that we can try to mitigate it. Like, there's enough people that get hate crimed in America to where it doesn't hurt or harm anyone to address the issue. It's not like we need broad sweeping laws. It's not like we need anything. What we need to do is just talk to people about, really, hey, your bigotry, why do you have it? Why is it? Let's talk about it. Instead, Dave Rubin is like, there's none of it. It doesn't exist. Ignore it. It's like, why? What's the point?
He also throws this straw man in there. Simply put, Klansmen armed with nooses are not lurking on Chicago street corners. That's a huge straw man. That's not the kind of thing we're talking about. Most hate crime is not going into someone's yard and lighting a burning cross while wearing Klan robes. For instance, Washington, D.C., today and yesterday in the past week, there have been rallies held in Washington, D.C. by Trump supporters, and what do you know? The Proud Boys showed up. Surprise. And what do you know? They burned down a historically black church. Whoa. And there were multiple stabbings and stuff. Like, again, hate crime is not this thing where you go with your buddies and you put on your Klan robes and you go do this organized thing necessarily. It's more insidious than that. He goes on to say, these statistics don't back him up at all, and I don't know if he realizes it or if he just thinks his audience is stupid. Yes. So he says, specifically, FBI crime data for 2017 shows that while 48.6% of race crime victims were black, 17.1% were white, 3 times more than Native Americans. Oh, wow. Hey, Dave, black people are 14% of the population, but they get 48.6% of race crimes as victims. And white people are the majority, but they only get 15, what did you say it was? 15%? Something like that? 17% were white. Maybe do the math on that one. Doesn't it seem like then a disproportionate amount of racially based crimes are going towards black people? I hate to FBI crime statistic you, Dave, but I guess we should 48.6 you. Christ. He goes on to say Native Americans experienced 5%, again, which is more in line with, the Native American population, although any amount is too many. And then he talks about the religious ones where anti-Semitic hate crimes are the largest religious group that gets singled out for hate crimes, which isn't surprising. The same kind of people who are going to attack someone for the color of their skin is going to attack someone for being Jewish. 100%. There's a word for this. They're called Nazis.
Oh, whoa. Wait a second. Poor Dave. Are there any other, like... It's a pretty short chapter.
Yeah, he's got the next line, which is pretty good, too.
Okay.
FBI records from 2017 show that out of 5,084 attacks on people... from 2017 show that out of 5,084 attacks on people rather than their property, 44% suffered intimidation. So again, he's talking about property as well, which I find very funny in the light of the right wing freaking out about like property getting destroyed during protests over racial justice for people killed by the police. Property matters then. But in cases of hate crime against non-white people, apparently that's not a big deal. So that's fun.
I don't understand the fixation of property when it comes to people like just capitalists in general. Like Destiny's really bad about this too. Like I understand personally, like hey, I don't want people to take my things. They are my things. And again, there's a difference between public property and individual property and stuff that you have. Like there's a big fundamental misunderstanding between like capitalists and when someone says no private property, that just means that there's not like corporations that own stuff, but you still own your house. Like people fundamentally misunderstand what that means. Like you still, your PlayStation and your car and your computer, those are yours, even under communism. With the things that can't be owned are like, and I guess it depends on who you talk to, but like reasonable people will be like, yeah, obviously there is some form of like that is mine, and that's fine. There seems to be this big hiccup where, like I believe Destiny even said like, hey, if someone is trying to steal a radio out of my car, I mean like that's their life they're putting on the line or something like that. I'm using less extreme language than he did, but I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. As someone who has had my car broken into in the past, it's not like that big a deal to me. It's like, sure, they took some of my CDs, which at the time, which dates how long ago that was. They took some of the other stuff, but it's like, as long as like they're not hurting somebody, like I'm not happy that it's happening, but I don't want to murder them about it. Like,
yeah, no,
like it's so weird that there's this, I'm gonna fucking kill you. It's like, why though? For what? Like, why not just... I have
homeowner's insurance. If
right.
someone breaks into my house and steals... I'd rather they steal my TV and get away than me fucking shoot them in the face. Like, I'm not gonna kill someone over a goddamn TV. Who cares?
Again, it goes into the last, like violence fantasy that seems to pervade American people, especially on the right, with this whole... It's not just toxic masculinity. There's lots of right-wing women that are like that as well. But, like... Oh boy. There's gotta be more juice. Is there more juice that we can squeeze out of this puppy?
That's all I had in terms of giving a shit.
Then. I'm good. I mean, look, if you're like, if you see hate crimes and your response to it is we should do nothing and it's fine, then you're dumb. Like, I don't know what, like, again, Jussie Smollett does a dumb thing and fakes a hate crime. Why does that mean other hate crimes are bad? Like, or not real? It doesn't make sense. Hate crimes occur. It's okay to live in reality, Dave, and other people who are Dave's fans. Like, in fact, it's preferable that you live in reality with the rest of us. That way we can solve problems. We don't have to, like, I don't think is there a broad legislation on the books to address hate crimes? It's not that big of an epidemic. What it is a social thing that we need to make sure doesn't get exacerbated by people like Donald Trump, which is what happened. And that's the discussion. The discussion is not, we want to eliminate hate crimes, which we do, but we can't. The discussion is, why is there this phenomenon of exacerbation? And the answer is that, you know, someone in that kind of power position who no longer holds it, just tossing that out there. Donald Trump is no longer president, really. At least functionally. You can't have someone emboldening the worst parts of American culture and then deny that that's happening. Like either accept the fact that that's why you like them, which is what a lot of people do. A lot of people are very open about it. That's fine. And I respect that a lot more than someone like Dave Rubin, who was just like, you know what, the Koch brothers paid me to like him. So the discussion is, again, it's about not making it worse. It's not about I don't know. I don't even know what law you could put out there that he would be against. Because he's not really a libertarian. Like, if you want people to go to prison for stuff, you're not a libertarian. Because that's the state literally enslaving you. So, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know either. So, anyway, any parting words on hate crime? Any hot takes on hate crime?
Hate crime's bad. Okay.
It's pretty spicy.
That's my hot take.
And
it's emblematic of issues being, like you said, exacerbated by people in power. But hopefully that'll improve. We'll see what happens.
Hopefully it will. So what's up next? What's on the docket?
Environmental issues, up to and including food shortages, extreme weather, and polar bears.
I'm sorry. Food shortages, extreme weather, and polar bears.
Polar bears, yes. Bears.
The third most important issue in regards to climate change. Polar bears. Look, I don't want polar bears to die or anything, but that's down the list a bit, in my opinion. Unless it's broadly about ecosystems, which I doubt.
No, it's specifically about polar bears. Now he claims poaching polar bears is killing more people than destroying their environment.
Someone poach me with an elephant gun, like Robin Williams' dad in Jumanji. Shoot me. So, that's the end of this Dave Rubin bullshit. We'll be back with more of it, because life is pain.
Yeah. All our links are in the description. We have other channels and Twitch pages that we do stuff on constantly.
We got stuff, lots of content. You'll never be sad. For instance, you know that MAGA rapper that was on? He went a little viral the other day. That was the guy that I totally exposed with facts and logic. Really, I just got to listen to him be really, really stupid for a while. So if you like listening to dumb people, and then listening to less dumb people tell them they're dumb, I got the content you need. Which is pretty much the whole. That's pretty much all of our stuff. We're slightly less dumb than the other people that are really dumb, and we go, "Hey, you're dumb."
Yep.
Feels good. All right, that's our legacy. So, if you want to subscribe and do comments and do all the other stuff, you know how YouTube works at this point, I think. Unless you're a child, in which case, fucking leave. I don't like you. Don't like you or your opinions. Stupid kid. Get out of here. You little scamp. You little... Scamp sounds really close to a pejorative that shouldn't be said, doesn't it? I always thought that. I always thought scamp was like real on the line. I don't think it is, but it sounds like it. Phonetically. No? Is that just me?
I think it's just you.
Okay. All right. I put it just above tramp, but like Lady in the Tramp. You know? Which just means like transient.
Yeah.
Huh. Anyway, that's how my brain works. Just under no substance abuse. Just normal. That's how it is. Do you see the fatigue in her face? Yep.